Good morning, everyone. It's Susan with the Noonan Carnegie Library, and I'm here with another book review for you. Today, I want to talk about Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you've ever read any of Riley's books. I have reviewed some of them before. Read her books. They're great. They're so suspenseful. They always keep me turning the pages quickly. I love them. So this book is about Maggie Holt, and her father has recently passed away, and as she's grieving him, she has to go into his lawyer's office to get the will read, and there she finds out that her family still owns Baneberry Hall. Now, Baneberry Hall is a house that she and her family lived in for just a few months when she was young, and they fled this house in the middle of the night after all this weird stuff started happening. So Maggie doesn't remember all of it, but she knows what happened because her father wrote a book after they left, a very popular book. All the mysterious happenings, such as weird record players playing in the middle of the night, possible ghosts. It's just the creepiest book. And so she knows what happened because of this book, but she actually doesn't believe that the book really happened. She can't remember anything from her childhood. It's a lot about her. So she thinks that her parents probably made this whole thing up. So when her father, Ewan, wrote this book, it was called House of Horrors, and it made them very unpopular with the people who live in the town. So now Maggie finds out that this house that she thought her parents sold after they moved when she was so young, that he's owned it all this time, and now she has inherited it. So she's like, oh great, what am I gonna do? And she decides she's gonna go try to fix up the house and sell it, because that's what she does now for a job. She fixes up old houses and flips them and sells them. So she heads to Baneberry Hall against the advice of her mother, who is remarried and moved on because she and her father got a divorce after all of these events happened. And Maggie has really lived with this book hanging over her whole life. People always bring it up, and they like kind of mock her for it, or they want to talk about ghosts, and it always makes Maggie very uncomfortable. So she decides she's going to confront the past by going back to Baneberry Hall. When she goes back to Baneberry Hall, she starts finding out all these things she didn't remember, things she didn't know about, and the past just kind of comes flooding back. The townspeople aren't that happy to see her. The book really kind of messed with their lives because it was so popular, so she doesn't exactly receive what you would call a warm welcome. She meets a lot of people from her past, some she remembers, some she does not, and things just start happening in the house. What I like about this book, it goes back and forth from Maggie's point of view as to what's happening in the present day, and then it'll have a chapter of her father's book. So we know what was going on back then, and that unfolds slowly over the course of the book too, as we find out more and more about what her father said happened. So I really enjoyed that device in the book. This book was really suspenseful. Creepy stuff was happening where it started to make you think, is this book saying there are ghosts, or are they saying it's not? You know, it's one of those where it's like, oh, it's so suspenseful, and you just are like, I really want to know what happens at the end. I think good suspense books have to be the kind of books where you keep turning the page, you really want to find out what happens, it sucks you in and kind of carries you away, but also it has to have a twist or two at the end to really wrap everything up, but also be like, I didn't even see that coming. Now, sometimes it's written so well that even if you see the twist coming, you still enjoy it. But for this one, I did not see it coming. It was so great. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So it was such a good book. I highly recommend it. What a great thriller. It's a great way to spend a day or two reading a good book. And once again, it's Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. And look at this cover. It's like green and yellow, and this chandelier plays a big role in the book, but I don't want to tell you what. You'll have to find that out on your own. So come on in, check it out, read it, and let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us today, and join us again soon for another book review.